Yo, what's going on everyone? BG Wizard back for another video. Today we're taking a look at the Shadow Priest talents, the best Shadow Priest spec if you want to push rating in PvP. Currently, I am for the fourth season in a row, I am the #1 Shadow Priest in the world in rated battlegrounds. Currently, you can see that on murloc.io. And also on the ladder, obviously I'm around rank 30 on the ladder. Obviously, start of season cheese, no big deal. It doesn't mean that much. I know. But I do know what I'm talking about as it's current. I do know what's good currently, and I've been playing every day, and that's all I was trying to show there. So let's get into it. So this is mainly, I have an RBG spec, and then I'll also let you guys know what's good, what I think would be good in Arena as well. So I'm not actually going to go, I will copy this entire spec. As you can see here, I can just share it. So I'll copy to the clipboard, and I'll paste it in either the comments or the description on the video. So you guys can literally just enter the spec into your game, and boom, you're off and running. So yeah. So we're not going to go through every single talent, but I'm going to explain the ones that I think are big in RBGs, okay? So RBG specifically, first one I'm going to point out, Void Tendrils, okay? I have seen priests take Sheer Terror. In fact, the Arena spec that I actually got this off of Anboni. Shout out to Anboni for coming up with this spec. I switched this for RBGs because I feel like Void Tendrils is very good, where you can Void Tendril and then fade, so you can create distance. You could root like 4 melee, fade Feather, or fade Shield, because obviously fade removes all movement and pairing effects. Where is that ability? Here. Fade removes all snare effects. So what you can do is you can Void Tendril, fade, and then you have your body and soul where your shield gives you 40% increased movement speed, or you have your feathers, which also give you 40%. So you just Void Tendril, fade, and then movement speed away, and you can create distance. In RBGs, that's huge, because in RBGs you're always trying to get in the right position. You're always trying to move fast, and usually the faster your team can move, or you can move, the better your team is going to do. Positioning is very important. Crossing the map is very important, and getting to objectives quicker than enemy teams. So for RBGs, I'm taking that. I think for Arena that they were taking Sheer Terror. So I think that's one change. Real quickly, I will point out the hero talents. I think this is important. I tried the other spec. I forget what it's called. What is it? Void Weaver. I tried Void Weaver. Dog shit. Dog shit. What we want to play is we want to play Archon. And this is the main ability right here. Energy Compression. Halo damage and healing is increased by 30%. This is our top damage ability. You're just gonna Halo, and boom, you're gonna, especially in RBGs, you want to position yourself so you kind of get close to as many enemies as possible, and then you cast Halo, and it's just boom. It's like so much damage. It'll top your damage. So you just do that on cooldown. You want it on cooldown. You want to use Halo, and you want to be as close to it. I would not recommend using it if it's like one enemy you're facing. I would save it until there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 enemies around you, and then you press it, and it's really good. That's in RBGs. In Arena, I actually think it's the same. In Arena, you still want to play this. I still think it's your one of your top damage in Arena. So no changes for Arena there. So yeah, the main thing to notice to note for War Within is Halo is now like your top damage ability. Obviously, it has a big cooldown, right? It's got a minute cooldown. So okay. So what else for RBGs? Oh, for Arena, you want to spec into Spell Warding. Not Spell Warding. Blessed Recovery. In Arena, you're going to switch over and play Blessed Recovery. In RBGs, I do not take this because we have 3 healers. You can generally survive long enough in RBGs. So in Arena, that's one change I would make. I would definitely, I would switch and go Blessed Recovery in Arena. But in RBGs, this is RBG spec. The other thing that I'm going to point out here is I've also seen people take, I've also seen people take these 2 out and put them into Improved Fade. Okay, because keep in mind, you get 10% reduced damage taken from fade. So you can have a shorter fade cooldown. So you can basically have a shorter defensive cooldown. And movement and parrying, and it removes all snares, right? So you could have a shorter fade cooldown. That's really good. I personally use this for RBGs. It's just, I find when I'm like running at bases 1v1 or yeah, like 1v2 situations, 1v1 situations, I find that it's very valuable to have the extra heal, and that's pretty much why I take it. Also, I'm not playing Vampiric Embrace. I've seen Arena Shadow Priest take Vampiric Embrace. I play the Leech Spec. What else is there? I used to play the one-shot build. I will say I tried the one-shot build with this, so it'd be 40% increased damage when you have all your dots on, and it's just not good. You definitely, basically, you're playing for Surge of Insanity, so you're playing for Mind Flay Insanities, and that's pretty much the meat and potatoes of our spec. You still have Void Torrent, and you have Halo. So let me break it down for you. Oh, and then Shadow Crash, you can choose if it's targeted location. So I can't. I was trying to point to it. You can't see my finger. Basically, you can do it to your target or to a selected location. I use the selected location. Real quick, I'll show you how it's done. Last thing that I would say you can change. For RBGs, you can take a shorter Leap of Faith cooldown. That's always good in RBGs. And also, this is a big one for Arena and for when you're hitting bases. If you're going to 1v2 or 1v1 or 2v2 in an RBG, you want to take Phase Shift. If you're playing Arena, I think you want to take Phase Shift. So you have an immunity when you press Fade. So Fade becomes this really good defensive cooldown where you go immune, then you have a 10% wall, and you're removing all snaring effects. Fade becomes a super important ability. Now, in RBGs, specifically like flag carrying maps, for example, I take Psyfiend, 50% reduced healing on the target. It's very good for landing kills, especially if your warriors are playing Fury, so you're actually not having a Mortal Strike on your team. Taking Psyfiend is very underrated right now. I recommend taking Psyfiend if your team's struggling to land kills. You can pop that Psyfiend when your team needs a kill and focus down a target, and it's 50% reduced healing. It's a great ability to have. So 1v1, 2v2 situations, take Fade. Arena, take Fade. When you need kills in team fight or you're killing a flag carrier, take Psyfiend. Okay, so let's see if I can do this off the cuff, but pretty much here's your rotation, okay? I'm going to Shadow Crash. It's going to get all my dots on everybody. Then I'm going to PI myself, and I'm going to PI my Warlock or somebody. I'm going to Void Eruption. Halo hits them all, and then you're off to the races. You're going to get your Mind Flay Insanity procs, and you're going to get Void Bolt and your Mind Blast procs. And that's pretty much all you want to do, is just over and over, you just Void Bolt, Mind Flay Insanity, Void Bolt, Mind Flay Insanity. And you want to keep in mind, you definitely want to have all 3 dots on your targets at all times if possible. So the reason you're doing this is our mastery gives us about 5, roughly, whatever your mastery is, roughly 5% increased damage to a target, depending on how many dots you have on them. So you want Vampiric Touch and Shadow Pain on them, and you want Devouring Plague. So that's 3 abilities. So you're roughly going to be able to hit 15% harder if you have all 3 dots on them. So what you want to try and do is you want to Shadow Crash is the easiest way to dot everything, especially in an RBG. So you dot them all, and then you're going to Devouring Plague, and then you do your Mind Flay Insanity, your Halos. Okay. The other reason you're doing this is the tier set bonus gives you damage done increased by 1% for every application of Devouring Plague. So we have the 15% damage increase from Mastery, right? If we have all 3 dots on somebody, we have 15% increased damage to them. So that's great. What you also want to do is have your DP up. So we could DP multiple targets, and that'll just increase it. So it'll go from like 15% to like maybe like 17%. So it's like a 2% damage increase, maybe 3, but you could go from 15 to 17% damage increase. So pretty much get your dots up, okay? Void Form, Power Infusion, Halo, and then send your Mind Flay Insanities, your Mind Blast procs, your Void Bolts, Void Bolt, Mind Flay Insanity, Void Bolt, Mind Flay Insanity, and just over and over, and that's what you're going to do. And you just want to keep refreshing Devouring Plague every time you can. And that's pretty much the rotation. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll link the spec in the comment below. And yeah, enjoy the season, guys. Good luck. And see you on the next video. Peace.